a man facing death, a nation collapsing into chaos, a revelation that would reshape human understanding. Picture witnessing the moment when the divine realm tears open and selects one individual to record history's most profound secret. Why does Isaiah stand apart among the Bible's 66 books? Why do scholars call him the evangelist of the Old Testament? What makes his words so compelling that Jesus quoted him more frequently than any other prophet? You are about to discover something that will fundamentally alter how you read ancient texts. This unfolds as more than history. It presents a coded message preserved for our generation. A book that predicted virgin birth 7 centuries in advance, described crucifixion with surgical precision before crosses existed, and painted the most accurate portrait of the Messiah ever recorded. Isaiah contains prophecies so precise, so impossible to predict through human knowledge, that skeptics have searched for explanations for centuries without success. Isaiah's structure mirrors the Bible itself with mathematical precision. Its 66 chapters parallel the Bible's 66 books. The first 39 chapters focus on judgment, reflecting the Old Testament's themes, while the final 27 emphasize hope, echoing the New Testament's message. This arrangement cannot be coincidental. That fateful year, Jerusalem lay shrouded in darkness. King Uzziah's death had cast waves of terror across Judah. For 52 years, he had brought prosperity and security. His death announced an era of uncertainty. Isaiah, a young priest from noble lineage, watched the unfolding crisis with growing alarm. He had grown up immersed in temple rituals, hearing stories of divine greatness. Yet corruption and idolatry now infected the holy city's heart. Nobles and priests pursued personal gain rather than righteousness. Isaiah sat in a small chamber near the temple, meditating in silence. Wind howled against the windows with warning force. His heart wrestled with fear and anticipation. Suddenly, his friend Jeremiah burst through the door. "The borders are under threat. Assyrians march against us. With Uzziah dead, we're vulnerable." Isaiah listened grimly as Jeremiah described desperate people considering alliances with pagan nations. "Our salvation lies in returning to the God of our fathers," Isaiah declared. "Who will listen in times like these?" Jeremiah wondered. Isaiah gazed toward gathering storm clouds. "Perhaps no one will hear me now, but someone must speak the truth." Walking toward the temple, Isaiah witnessed men arguing anxiously in the streets while women wept for sons who might soon march to war. An elderly priest approached with defeat in his eyes. "Do you truly believe God still hears us? Look around. God has abandoned us." Isaiah replied calmly, "God would never abandon us. We have turned away from him." The old man shook his head and walked away slowly. Inside the temple, heavy silence hung like a tangible presence. Isaiah knelt at the altar and prayed desperately. "God of our fathers, we are lost. Our nation drifts from your law. Our hope fades. Where else can we look?" As he prayed, powerful winds swept through the temple, shaking the sacred veil. An indescribable presence filled the space with overwhelming intensity. Radiant light emerged from behind the veil, piercing through him with unbearable brilliance. A voice thundered with majestic depth. "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." Isaiah fell to the ground, unable to withstand the vision's force. Feeling completely unworthy, he cried in despair, "I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. My eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." A celestial being flew swiftly to the altar, grasping a burning coal with tongs. The being approached with calm mercy, extending the coal toward Isaiah's lips. "Do not fear," the celestial voice spoke gently yet firmly. "This coal has touched your lips. Your guilt is removed. Your sin is forgiven." The pain Isaiah felt burned deep but brought liberation. The divine voice echoed again. "Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?" Isaiah slowly raised his head. Despite knowing trials awaited him, he felt compelled to answer. "Here I am, Lord. Send me." The experience transformed Isaiah permanently. What he witnessed in that temple would haunt and drive him for the rest of his life. The ground, walls, and air itself pulsed with indescribable force. Light so intense appeared that Isaiah covered his eyes, unable to bear the blinding brightness. Through his trembling fingers he perceived extraordinary details. A majestic throne stood high and exalted, radiating pure light. The Lord sat upon it, a vast figure whose face could not be beheld due to his glory. Celestial beings with 6 wings flew continuously around the throne. 2 wings covered their faces, 2 covered their feet, and with 2 they hovered. Their deep, powerful melody echoed endlessly. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. The temple quaked under this divine proclamation while smoke filled the space, clouding Isaiah's vision. Overwhelmed by fear, he murmured, "How can I be here? This exceeds what any man can bear." The celestial being approached with a burning coal taken from the heavenly altar. Its searing glow illuminated the entire temple, casting dancing shadows on smoke-filled walls. "This coal will purify you," the being declared with deep, comforting authority. The intense heat touched Isaiah's lips, mixing unbearable pain with indescribable relief and cleansing. The being smiled gently. "Your guilt has been removed. Your sin is forgiven." Isaiah felt incredibly light, as if a crushing burden had lifted from his heart completely. The profound voice resounded again with unmistakable clarity. "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" Without considering consequences, Isaiah responded immediately with firm resolution. "Here am I, Lord. Send me." Even as these words left his lips, a chill ran down his spine. Something whispered that his life would never be the same. He had no idea of the pain, rejection, and trials awaiting him. The divine commission came with a sobering warning. "Your words will strike hearts of stone like hammers breaking rock. You will speak to people who shut their ears. You will prophesy to those who refuse belief." Isaiah asked desperately, "How long will this continue? When will they listen?" The thunderous answer shook the temple walls. "Until cities lie ruined without inhabitants. Until houses stand deserted and fields become desolate. Until the Lord drives people far away and the land lies utterly forsaken." Isaiah's blood ran cold. The mission carried weight far beyond his imagination. Yet amid destruction, hope remained. Even in devastation, a remnant will survive. A stump, a holy seed will endure. Isaiah absorbed this paradox of judgment and preservation. Fire began burning in his chest that no rejection, pain, or future suffering could extinguish. When the vision ended and the temple returned to normal appearance, Isaiah knew his transformation was complete. Walking through Jerusalem's streets afterward, Isaiah felt the divine voices echo with every step. "Go and tell this people." Jeremiah noticed immediately that something profound had changed in his friend's eyes. "God called me," Isaiah explained, "but also revealed that people will not listen. They will have ears but not hear, eyes but not see. Their hearts will become hardened." This seemed impossible to Jeremiah. Why would God send someone to preach knowing none would listen? Isaiah's explanation revealed the deeper purpose. Even amid rejection, there exists greater meaning. A remnant will be saved. A holy seed will remain. This became the pattern of Isaiah's ministry. He proclaimed truth knowing it would be rejected, yet understanding that divine purpose transcended immediate reception. His message carried weight for future generations who would recognize its fulfillment. The first public proclamation met predictable resistance. In the marketplace, Isaiah declared, "Listen closely but do not understand. Look clearly but do not perceive." Some stopped to listen while others laughed with disdain. "Another prophet with doom," one muttered. "We need soldiers, not prophets," shouted another. Isaiah continued undeterred. "Harden the hearts of this people, O Lord. Shut their ears, blind their eyes until cities lie in ruins." Laughter and insults followed, but Isaiah pressed forward, knowing this rejection was merely the beginning. The prophecies began manifesting immediately. Enemy troops advanced, hunger spread, injustice rose in the streets. Isaiah's warnings proved accurate while people remained indifferent. Each fulfilled prediction only hardened hearts further against his message. The pattern established itself firmly. Truth spoken, truth rejected, truth vindicated, yet still unheeded. King Ahaz summoned Isaiah during a particularly desperate moment. Threatened by Israel and Syria, the terrified monarch begged for divine guidance. Isaiah delivered one of history's most remarkable prophecies. "Do not fear these two smoldering stubs of firewood. God will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." Heavy silence filled the throne room. The impossibility of virgin conception sparked immediate ridicule. Advisors whispered doubts while the king questioned Isaiah's sanity. This prophecy spread quickly through Jerusalem, generating widespread mockery. "A son from a virgin? Madness," people declared. Now the prophet is truly delusional. Young men taunted Isaiah in the streets. "When's your Emmanuel coming? We understand you love metaphors." Isaiah responded calmly, "Laugh today, mock now, but the Lord's words do not fail." The virgin birth prophecy represented only the beginning of Isaiah's most challenging revelations. Visions continued appearing, each more mysterious than the last. He saw a child bearing unprecedented titles. "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulders. His name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." The divine voice declared this child would bring everlasting government and peace. Public reaction to these prophecies grew increasingly hostile. "Another child, Isaiah? Wasn't Emmanuel enough?" merchants complained. "When will this child be born? We're tired of waiting," desperate mothers asked. Religious leaders spread rumors of Isaiah's madness, claiming his visions resulted from exhaustion and despair. Yet Isaiah persisted, driven by unshakable conviction that these words originated from God, regardless of human reception. The visions evolved to show broader implications. Isaiah saw people from many nations speaking different languages, walking toward great light on the horizon. "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those dwelling in the shadow of death, upon them light has shined." This universality shocked Isaiah's contemporaries, who expected salvation exclusively for Israel. Opposition intensified as Isaiah's message expanded beyond judgment to include suffering and redemption themes. Stones were thrown, insults hurled, and even family members distanced themselves. His cousin Eliab confronted him directly. "Stop this madness. People say you've gone insane. Our family name suffers shame because of your words." When Isaiah insisted he could not remain silent about God's calling, Eliab abandoned him entirely. The weight of rejection pressed heavily upon Isaiah, but the visions continued with increasing intensity. He began seeing a mysterious figure referred to as the servant. This man appeared humble yet carried immense significance. "Here is my servant whom I uphold, my chosen one in whom my soul delights. I will put my spirit upon him, and he will bring justice to the nations." The servant brought justice without shouting or raising his voice publicly. He carried suffering as if it were his own burden. Isaiah's descriptions of the servant grew more detailed and disturbing. "He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with suffering." The prophet witnessed horrifying scenes of this innocent man being beaten, scourged, and humiliated without resistance. Blood covered the servant's face from open wounds on his back as if publicly flogged. Isaiah covered his face in despair, unable to comprehend such cruelty against an innocent person. The servant's suffering reached unimaginable depths. "He was pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed." Isaiah saw details of execution methods unknown in his time, involving wooden structures and pierced hands and feet. The servant hung lifeless, surrounded by mockers pointing fingers and laughing. Yet the servant remained silent throughout his ordeal. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb led to slaughter, like a sheep before its shearers, he remained silent. This voluntary acceptance of undeserved suffering baffled Isaiah. Why would someone endure such treatment without defending himself? The answer came with devastating clarity. The servant's suffering was substitutionary. "All we like sheep have gone astray, We have turned everyone to his own way. The Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. The guilt and punishment belonging to humanity was transferred to this innocent sufferer. Isaiah realized he was witnessing the ultimate expression of divine justice and mercy combined. But the servant's story did not end with death. In a vision that defied all logic, Isaiah saw life emerging from death itself. After the anguish of his soul, he will see light and be satisfied. By his knowledge my righteous servant shall justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. The same servant who had been crushed and killed now stood alive, his sacrifice vindicated and his mission accomplished. Isaiah understood he was recording something unprecedented in human experience. Death had been conquered, justice satisfied, and redemption achieved through suffering. He will see the fruit of the travail of his soul and be satisfied. He will prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. The servant's death became the means of victory over death itself. These revelations gradually coalesced into a coherent narrative spanning centuries. Isaiah realized all his visions pointed toward a single individual who would fulfill multiple roles. The child born of a virgin, the Prince of Peace, the suffering servant, and the resurrected victor were all the same person. This Messiah would accomplish what seemed impossible, achieving salvation through suffering and life through death. The scope of this salvation amazed Isaiah. It would extend beyond Israel to encompass all nations. I will make you a light to the Gentiles, that you may bring my salvation to the ends of the earth. The servant's mission carried global implications, transforming humanity's relationship with the divine through his sacrificial work. Isaiah also received visions of restoration following judgment. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners. Hope would emerge from despair, beauty from ashes, joy from mourning. The final pieces revealed ultimate victory. Isaiah saw the servant not only restored to life but exalted above all earthly powers. He will be raised and lifted up and highly exalted. Kings will shut their mouths because of him, for what they were not told, they will see, and what they have not heard, they will understand. The one who suffered rejection would receive universal recognition. These prophecies established a pattern that would unfold across centuries. Every detail Isaiah recorded, from virgin birth to resurrection, from suffering to glory, from rejection to acceptance, would find precise fulfillment. The mathematical impossibility of such accuracy demonstrates supernatural origin. No human could predict these events across such vast time spans with such specific detail. Isaiah's writings preserve more than ancient prophecy. They present a detailed blueprint of divine redemption, carefully orchestrated across history. The servant's identity, mission, methods, and ultimate victory are laid out with remarkable precision. When these prophecies found fulfillment centuries later, their accuracy validated both Isaiah's calling and the divine plan he recorded. The prophet's experience teaches profound lessons about faith and obedience. Isaiah accepted his calling despite knowing it would bring rejection and suffering. He proclaimed truth regardless of reception. He trusted divine purpose even when human logic suggested futility. His example demonstrates that authentic faith operates beyond immediate understanding or acceptance. Modern readers can recognize in Isaiah's visions the central themes that would later define Christianity. The incarnation, atonement, resurrection, and global mission all appear in his prophecies. The theological framework for understanding Jesus' work was established centuries before his birth through Isaiah's inspired writings. The precision of Isaiah's prophecies addresses contemporary skepticism about divine revelation. The specific details, the exact fulfillments, and the theological depth combine to create compelling evidence for supernatural inspiration. Human wisdom could never have produced such accurate predictions across such extended time frames. Isaiah's messages about judgment and restoration speak directly to current conditions. Nations still struggle with corruption, injustice, and spiritual emptiness. The solutions Isaiah proposed, returning to divine standards, accepting divine provision for sin, embracing divine purposes, remain relevant. His warnings about the consequences of rejecting divine truth continue to apply. The suffering servant passages provide profound insight into the nature of redemption. They reveal that salvation required substitutionary sacrifice, that innocence died for guilt, that divine love accepted human punishment. This principle of vicarious atonement becomes central to understanding how divine justice and mercy can coexist. Isaiah's visions of ultimate restoration offer hope beyond immediate circumstances. Though judgment may come, though suffering may endure, though rejection may persist, divine purposes will ultimately prevail. The servant's victory guarantees that light will triumph over darkness, life over death, love over hatred. The global scope of Isaiah's prophecies challenges narrow interpretations of divine concern. Salvation would extend to all peoples, all nations, all languages. This universality suggests that divine love transcends ethnic, cultural, and geographic boundaries. The servant's mission encompasses all humanity. Isaiah's literary artistry enhances his prophetic message. The imagery, metaphors, and symbolic language create emotional resonance while conveying theological truth. His poetic expressions of divine judgment and mercy have inspired readers across millennia, demonstrating the enduring power of inspired writing. The structural symmetry of Isaiah's book reflects divine design. The parallel between his 66 chapters and the Bible's 66 books, the division between judgment and hope sections, and the careful development of messianic themes suggest intentional organization rather than accidental compilation. Isaiah's personal transformation through his temple vision illustrates the process of divine calling. The awareness of divine holiness, the recognition of personal inadequacy, the experience of cleansing, and the acceptance of mission create a pattern repeated throughout spiritual history. His model demonstrates how divine encounters produce human change. The prophet's willingness to endure rejection for the sake of truth challenges contemporary tendencies to avoid unpopular messages. Isaiah knew his words would be scorned yet continued speaking. His example suggests that authentic prophecy often conflicts with popular opinion but serves eternal purposes. The interconnection of Isaiah's various prophecies demonstrates divine authorship. The virgin birth relates to the servant's suffering, which connects to resurrection hope, which links to global salvation. These themes weave together in ways that suggest comprehensive divine planning rather than human speculation. Isaiah's influence on subsequent biblical writers confirms his significance. The New Testament quotes Isaiah more than any other prophet, finding in his words the vocabulary needed to explain divine redemption. His concepts provide the theological foundation for understanding salvation history. The detailed nature of Isaiah's servant songs raises questions about prophetic knowledge. How could he describe crucifixion before it was invented? How could he predict resurrection when such concepts were undeveloped? How could he envision global missions in a tribal context? These questions point toward supernatural revelation as the only adequate explanation. Isaiah's prophecies about the Messiah's dual nature, human and divine, anticipate later theological developments. The child called Mighty God, yet born of a woman, the servant who suffers yet conquers death, the man who carries human burdens yet fulfills divine purposes. These paradoxes find resolution only in the incarnation doctrine. The prophet's descriptions of messianic kingdom characteristics continue to inspire hope. Justice, peace, healing, restoration, and joy define this coming reality. Though not yet fully realized, these promises sustain faith through difficult circumstances and motivate pursuit of divine purposes. Isaiah's warnings about spiritual blindness remain relevant. People can have eyes yet not see, ears yet not hear. Hearts can become hardened against truth. The prophet's experience demonstrates that divine revelation does not automatically produce human reception. Spiritual understanding requires divine illumination combined with human willingness. The servant's silence during suffering provides a model for enduring injustice. Rather than defending himself, arguing his case, or seeking revenge, the servant accepted undeserved punishment for the sake of others. This example challenges natural human responses to unfair treatment and suggests higher purposes in suffering. Isaiah's visions of restored creation offer environmental hope. The wolf dwelling with the lamb, the desert blooming, the earth filled with divine knowledge. These images suggest ultimate healing for all creation's wounds. Ecological restoration becomes part of divine redemptive purposes. The prophet's emphasis on divine sovereignty provides comfort during uncertain times. Though nations rage and peoples plot, divine purposes will prevail. The servant's victory demonstrates that apparent defeat can become ultimate triumph when guided by divine wisdom. Isaiah's prophecies establish criteria for recognizing authentic messiahs. The specific characteristics he described, virgin birth, suffering service, substitutionary death, resurrection victory, provide tests for evaluating messianic claims. His detailed blueprint prevents deception while confirming genuine fulfillment. The emotional depth of Isaiah's writings reflects the cost of prophetic ministry. His tears overcoming judgment, his agony at witnessing servants' suffering, his joy at glimpsing restoration. These responses demonstrate that divine revelation engages human emotions as well as intellect. Authentic prophecy involves the whole person. Isaiah's long-term perspective encourages patience with divine timing. His prophecies span centuries, requiring faith that transcended immediate circumstances. This temporal scope suggests that divine purposes unfold according to eternal schedules rather than human expectations. The servant's vindication provides hope for all who suffer unjustly. Though mockery and misunderstanding may persist temporarily, truth will ultimately prevail. The servant's exaltation demonstrates that divine justice operates on longer timescales than human justice but achieves more complete resolution. Isaiah's global vision challenges parochial thinking. Divine love extends beyond chosen peoples to encompass all humanity. The servant's mission includes every tribe, tongue, and nation. This universality suggests that authentic religion transcends cultural boundaries while respecting cultural distinctiveness. The precision of Isaiah's prophecies validates the reliability of divine revelation. When specific predictions find exact fulfillment centuries later, confidence grows in other divine promises not yet fulfilled. Isaiah's track record supports faith in continuing divine faithfulness. The servant's work addresses humanity's deepest needs. Guilt finds forgiveness, alienation finds reconciliation, despair finds hope, death finds defeat. These universal human problems receive solution through the servant's substitutionary suffering and victorious resurrection. Isaiah's prophecies reveal divine planning that spans history. The careful orchestration of events, the precise timing of fulfillments, the exact correlation between prediction and realization, all suggest comprehensive divine oversight of human affairs. History becomes the stage for divine purposes. The prophet's courage in proclaiming unwelcome truths challenges contemporary accommodation to popular opinion. Isaiah spoke divine messages regardless of reception, trusting that truth serves eternal purposes even when rejected temporarily. His example encourages authentic rather than diplomatic communication of divine revelation. Isaiah's servant songs continue to comfort suffering people. The knowledge that innocent suffering can serve redemptive purposes, that divine purposes can emerge from human tragedy, that ultimate victory awaits apparent defeat. These truths provide strength during difficult circumstances. The comprehensive nature of Isaiah's prophecies suggests divine revelation rather than human speculation. The theological sophistication, predictive accuracy, and emotional depth combine to create literature that transcends normal human capabilities. Divine inspiration provides the most adequate explanation for Isaiah's extraordinary insights. These prophecies established vocabulary and concepts essential for understanding divine redemption. Terms like servant, suffering, substitution, and victory gain precise meanings through Isaiah's usage. Later writers draw upon his inspired definitions to explain the mechanics of salvation. The fulfillment of Isaiah's prophecies provides historical evidence for divine activity. When predictions made centuries earlier find precise realization, natural explanations become inadequate. The servant's life, death, and resurrection vindicate Isaiah's claims while demonstrating divine faithfulness to revealed promises. Isaiah's writings bridge judgment and mercy in ways that satisfy both divine justice and divine love. The servant bears punishment for human guilt while extending divine compassion to human need. This substitutionary arrangement resolves the tension between divine attributes while accomplishing human redemption. The prophet's visions continue to shape hope for ultimate resolution of human conflicts. The promised kingdom of peace, justice, and joy provides goals for human aspiration while requiring divine intervention for complete realization. Isaiah's eschatological vision motivates present action while encouraging ultimate patience. Isaiah's prophetic ministry demonstrates how divine calling transforms human lives. His encounter with divine holiness produced lifelong dedication to proclaiming divine truth regardless of personal cost. This pattern suggests that authentic spiritual experience produces authentic spiritual service. The servant's global mission anticipates contemporary realities. In an interconnected world where local events carry global implications, Isaiah's vision of universal salvation addresses planetary rather than merely tribal concerns. His prophecies speak to current conditions with remarkable relevance. Isaiah's detailed prophecies establish patterns for recognizing divine activity. The specific methods, exact timing, and particular results he predicted create templates for evaluating claims about divine intervention. His criteria help distinguish authentic from counterfeit spiritual experiences. The emotional resonance of Isaiah's writings continues to move readers across cultures and centuries. His passionate pleas for justice, his anguished descriptions of suffering, his joyful proclamations of hope. These expressions engage human hearts while conveying divine truth. Great prophecy combines intellectual content with emotional impact. Isaiah's prophecies reveal divine character through divine actions. The willingness to provide substitutionary sacrifice, the commitment to universal salvation, the determination to achieve ultimate justice. These demonstrated qualities inspire both reverence and trust. Divine revelation serves divine self-revelation. The servant's victory provides ultimate meaning for human suffering. Though pain and injustice persist in present experience, the servant's triumph guarantees eventual resolution. His substitutionary work transforms meaningless suffering into redemptive sacrifice while his resurrection victory promises ultimate healing. Isaiah's prophetic accuracy establishes biblical reliability. When ancient predictions find precise modern fulfillment, confidence grows in biblical authority generally. His validated prophecies support faith in other biblical promises while demonstrating supernatural origin for scriptural revelation. The comprehensive scope of Isaiah's vision addresses every aspect of human need. Personal guilt, social injustice, political oppression, spiritual blindness, physical suffering, and ultimate death all find solution through the servant's work. No dimension of human brokenness lies beyond divine redemptive purposes. Isaiah's writings provide theological foundation for understanding salvation history. His concepts of incarnation, atonement, resurrection, and glorification establish interpretive frameworks for recognizing divine activity throughout subsequent history. Later revelation builds upon his inspired insights. The servant's silence during suffering challenges human tendencies toward self-defense and retaliation. His willingness to endure injustice for redemptive purposes suggests higher callings that transcend immediate self-interest. This model inspires sacrificial service while promising ultimate vindication. Isaiah's global vision transcends ethnic and cultural boundaries while respecting cultural distinctiveness. The servant's mission encompasses all peoples without erasing their differences. This universality suggests that divine love operates through diversity rather than uniformity. The precision of Isaiah's prophecies continues to generate scholarly investigation. The mathematical improbability of such detailed accuracy across extended time periods challenges naturalistic explanations while supporting supernatural inspiration. His writings provide compelling evidence for divine revelation. Isaiah's prophecies establish hope that transcends immediate circumstances. Though present conditions may suggest despair, his visions of ultimate restoration provide reason for confidence in divine purposes. The servant's victory guarantees eventual triumph of light over darkness, life over death, love over hatred.